Hello. Correct? Right. So welcome back to Political Science and International Relations. So for online students, the number is 733886355. It is 733886355. Right. Okay. So can we proceed further? Right. So Marxism, again I will go through all the slides what we saw in the last class, so that it will be helpful. Right. Okay. So this is what we started with yesterday. We started with the already existing theory of history that was there. So Marx also believed in this theory of history. What is the theory of history that Marx believed in? That history moved in a straight line. Okay. In a sense that this generation is better than the older generation. Okay. It is better than the older generation. So the human mankind is perfecting itself. Okay, and it is going to reach to an end where a perfect society would be born. Okay, that is the history belief that was there before Marx also. Marx also accepted it. But what is the perfect society? Marx differed. Okay, for Hegel, the perfect society is a society of perfect ideas, as we saw. Okay, it's a perfect ideas. 1 minute. Okay, it's a society of perfect ideas. That is how Hegel thought. But for Marx, the perfect society where the mankind is reaching is not the society of perfect ideas, but society of perfect mode of production, material production, whatever you say, right? That is where the history is heading according to Marx, right? This simple thing you should remember. For Hegel, let's go to the previous slide. For Hegel, the world changed because of changing ideas. Beautiful, changing ideas. It changed because of this thesis, antithesis. Even if I forget this, no problem, but always remember, for Hegel and other philosophers before Marx, the world changed because of changing ideas, right? But for Marx, it is not because of changing ideas. It is the interrelationship between the changing mode of production, which invariably changes the ideas, and that again changes the mode of production, again it invariably changes the ideas. It is a dialectical reciprocal relation between the changing mode of production and the forms of ideas it forms, the kinds of idea it forms. Okay. Simply they will say Marx believed in the changing mode of production, the way by which the perfect mode of production, the mode of production is perfecting itself, is the main reason for change of the world. Okay, simple explanation. Okay, any doubt in this? So for Hegel, changing ideas is the basic reason. For Marx, it's a changing mode of production is the basic reason. Okay, for Hegel, the society is heading towards a perfect stage of idea, but for Marx, the world is heading towards a perfect stage of material production. But the change do not happen so easily like how Hegel has said, thesis, antithesis. Here is a little bit complicated, where matter reacts with idea, again reacts with matter, again it reacts with idea, again it reacts with matter. Remember the sine wave, guys. Remember the sine wave. Okay, this sine wave always remember. Okay, matter reacts with idea, idea reacts with matter, matter reacts with idea, idea reacts with matter. Remember the sine wave. This is what Marx's theory at a nutshell. Okay, this is what Marx believed. So, what is the most important thing in the Marxist thought? The way by which the human being changed their mode of production. We produce completely differently. Slave owning society was there. Okay, what Marx called it as, even before slave owning society, primitive communism, what Marx called it as Asiatic mode of production. Okay. Okay. Then the mode of production changed. The mode of production changed to slaves. We will see one by one. Again the mode of production changed. Again there was capitalism. So again there was feudal lord, landlords and all these people. Mode of production changed. Now we are standing in a society where the mode of production is based on capital. Capital investment. What Marx called as capitalism. And Marx believed another mode of production will come. That is socialism. And Marx believed the final mode of production is communism. That is where the history ends. This is the belief of Marx. Many people would have criticized Marx as utopian because of such a belief. Okay, we will discuss that. Right. Okay, so just because I have used a lot of terminologies, last class I explained about what is a mode of production, what is the relations of production, what is the means of production, what is the force of production. Always remember mode of production, always remember means of production or materials of production is nothing but the technologies and all the tools that we use. Forces of production is means of production is labor power, the labor power. Okay, because many writings of Marx you will get forces of production terminology. Even the theory of revolution that we are going to see today, the terminology of forces of production is very important. Okay, so always remember this. So mode of production is a generic way by which the human being relate with one another to produce a common good. Generic way, how you relate, like a capitalist or a worker, you get wage, or based on caste system. Yesterday we saw a lot of examples. Based on caste system we used to produce. Okay, one caste always does this job, another caste always does this job. That was the mode of production prevailing in India. Okay, based on caste. Okay, we also saw the example of Europe, the kind of mode of production that was there, based on some kind of traditional authority, where the nobles dictated every day from morning 9 to 3 you have to work in my field. Only after 3 o'clock I will give you time to work in your field. So based on some traditional authority, the mode of production existed. Okay, so this is what the mode of production is, how one person relates with another person to produce all the material goods that is there. It is called as mode of production, right? Always remember this. Okay. So we will start today afresh. Any doubt till what I have said? Online students also, if you have any doubt, immediately message me. This is your number 7338863555. You can also interact with me then and there. Yesterday I didn't receive even one single doubt from you. Please interact, because I could answer you better if you ask me a lot of questions. Right. Class trouble. Okay. A typical Marxist thought believes that the society consisted of classes. History of all existing societies hitherto is the history of class struggles. So Marx believed every point of time in history, human beings formed themselves into different classes. What is a class? I will define you. Wait a minute. Every point of time in history, human beings organized themselves into different classes, and because of their common interest and antagonic interest with the other class, a class struggle happened. Okay. Not always. Say I form a group of 5 people, there is a possibility that my interest opposes this group of 10 people. So that is how Marx believed. So the group of people, the class people, they had antagonistic interest, so automatically class struggle is inevitable. So every point of time in history, there were many classes and class struggle was there. So according to Marx, what is history at the end of the day? History of all existing societies. History of all existing societies is nothing but the history of class struggles. History of class struggles. We already saw, according to Marx, what is the first act of history? Marx says, when you produce your material good. That is where the history starts, according to Marx. Right. Now it's time for us to define what is a class. What is a class? A lot of definitions. General definition we will understand, like what Weber has said. Class is based on your economic position in the market. Okay. your position in the market. This is simple definition given by Weber, but Marx is different. Again, this definition of Marx is different from how Weber has defined. So any book you take, probably you might get the definition of Weber, but we have to understand exactly in what meaning Marx used the word class. In Weberian terminology, poor is one class, okay, rich is another class, middle class is another class, okay, because their economic position differs. But in Marxian terminology, you don't get a middle class, you don't get a poor class, you don't get a rich class. Okay, why? Because Marx defined the class little bit differently. In a sense that Marx is the person who actually originated the very idea of class. The very idea of class. Even though the terminology was there before Marx, but he is the very first person, profound thinker who wrote a lot about class. Weber comes historically later than Marx. Right? So what is this class? See this diagram very clearly. So let's take a simple example of a factory. A simple example of a factory. So I want to start a factory. So I have an idea of starting some factory. So what I will do ideally? What I will do ideally? Tell me. What I need first of all to start a factory? Land. Beautiful. First of all, if I am going to start a factory, then I need some land. I don't have a land. So what I will do? I will approach a landlord and I will ask for land for rent. Correct? He will say, okay, I will give you land for rent. Right. Then what I need? I need money to build my machineries and other things. Correct? Investment. Even for the landlord also, first of all I have to give him check, some money. Only then he will rent me. Correct? Even for that I need money. So I don't have money also. I have only idea. Then what I will do then? Ideally, I will go to some banker, some person who gives money for interest. Correct? Simple logic. Okay. So first I will go to a banker, then I will ask money for interest. He will tell me, okay, you have to pay interest, so and so interest every month. Okay, I will get some money. Then I will approach the landlord. Then I go to the landlord and say, I need the land for rent. Then he says, okay. Then, right. What is the next thing I will do? Exactly, I need some laborers to work. Logically, for even to build a factory, I need laborers. Right. Then I will approach the laborers to first, using the laborers, I will build a factory. Then using the builder, I will build machineries. Then using the same laborers, I will start running the machineries. Then using the same laborers, I will take the goods, the finished goods to the market. And using the same laborers or different laborers, again I sell that in the market. Right. So now I get some money after selling the product. What I will do? I have to pay the laborers some wages from the money what I get. Correct? Then I have to pay the landlord rent because I am holding my factory in his land, rent. Then I have to pay the banker interest for the money that he has given me. Then the remaining I will hold as profit. Right. So this simple factory creates four classes. Four classes. Four different ways of earning money from the factory. Four different ways of earning money from the factory. So I am a capitalist, I earn money through profit. The banker earns money through interest. A landlord earns money through rent. A worker earns money through wages. Simple. Simple. That's it. So this simple factory has created four classes. Okay. This is what class is all about. The way by which you get related to the mode of production, or the way by which you earn from the mode of production. According to Marx, all those capitalists who get profit will have some thought process, the same kind of interest. Same kind of interest. Why they have the same kind of interest? Because the interest is to always earn more profit. Say, I am also a businessman, she is also a businessman, he is also a businessman. What their common interests are? To earn more profit, more profit. So our common interest is always to oppress a working class. We'll always sit and discuss. Our wage, our laborers are asking a lot of money, a lot of salary, what to do. So we will discuss some common discussion. No, don't give salary. We will have some association. Okay, we will limit the salary. We will approach them, ask them to work 15 hours a day. Because this is our common interest. There are 5-10 laborers. What will be their common interest? They will be speaking, see, my employer is asking me to work 18 hours a day. And another person will be saying, my employer is asking to 15 hours a day. And they will have some kind of common interest. They will say, no, we shouldn't work more than 10 hours a day. Correct? So, according to Marx, these people will have a common interest. Because they earn the same way from the mode of production. Similarly, the landowner, they will have some common interest. They will always try to say how to increase the land. Because they have the common interest. Because all of them earn through rent. Similarly, the banker, they will have a common interest. What is the common interest? How to get more interest. Correct? That is the reason these people organize into a class. That is the reason. Just because they earn in one particular way from the mode of production, they have a common interest. You understood? They have a common interest. That common interest makes them to constitute into a class. And Marx believed this is the simple and most important human category, not a caste or a religious category or ethnic category or any category, language category. All these categories are only superstructure because you have to work. You cannot live without working. You understood? That's what Marx believed. Why? For Marx, class is the basic category of human being. No one can escape class. No one can escape class. For example, from the childhood I am a deaf and dumb. I can't speak. So what is my language? I am a Tamilian or I am a Teluguite. See, I am also an orphan. Okay. 1 year I will live in West Bengal, another year I live in Tamil Nadu. Okay. So I don't have a language there because I can't speak anything. Okay. So all these categories are only, but any day I have to work. Even though I am a deaf and dumb, I don't have a language, or I don't have a caste also. I am orphan, I do not know what is my caste. Okay. And I do not also worship God, so I don't have a religious category also. But to survive, I have to work. I cannot escape this category in the Marxist thought. You understood? I cannot escape this category. I can escape any category. I can escape a caste category, religious category, ethnic category, linguistic category. But I cannot escape this category. Anyway, I have to work. My father is working somewhere. I am a son of a laborer. I am a son of a laborer. I am a son of a capitalist. I am a son of a landowner. I am a son of a banker. I am a son of a writer. Writer is another class. It doesn't come in this example, but it is another class according to Karl Marx. Doctor is another class according to Karl Marx. Okay. So I am a son of a doctor. Right. Petty bourgeoisie. So in the Marxist thought, I cannot escape this category. So why class is the basic category? Because of this in the Marxist thought. Any doubt in this case? Any doubt in this? Right. But just because I am born into a class, do I form into a class? That's the question. Marx answers that also. Very, very important in the Marxist thought. Marx classifies class into class in itself and class for itself. What is class in itself? Just because I start to earn money, for example, I am also getting money as a wage laborer, so I am also a worker. He is also earning money as a wage laborer, he is also a worker, he is also a worker, she is also a worker, everyone else, there are 10 workers here, right? Just because all of us earn money as a worker, we automatically make into a class in itself. Okay, because we have common interest. But we do not become into a class for itself. When we will become into a class for itself? Marx says only if we develop that class consciousness. Class consciousness. Okay, the consciousness that I am being oppressed, the consciousness that the capitalist is oppressing me, the consciousness that I have to wage a common struggle to get more rights. Only if I develop that consciousness, then I form into a real class. Till that moment, I am only a class in itself, a class category, that's it. I have not developed the consciousness yet. Marx says that consciousness will not come just like that. The consciousness will come only in the continuous struggle, against the other class, opponent class. In case of capitalism, only the continuous struggle against the domination of capital and the bourgeoisie class. You understood? So this is very, I would say, influential formation, in the sense that this formation was applied to all other categories also. Religion, ethnicity. Now all Marxist sociologists and all sociologists across the world started to apply this category, this configuration of this concept of consciousness, development of consciousness. How you develop a Hindu consciousness. When you start to feel that you are being completely this Hindu is being oppressed by other religion. Okay, that is what BJP does. Okay. So other Muslim parties or other Christian parties, what they will try to do, they will always try to create that a myth that you have been oppressed by the other religion. Correct? So this is a kind of a myth that has been created by all other political parties. Caste. All caste parties will come and say, our caste has been oppressed. We are not being given due in this Indian system. So we have to fight. So the caste consciousness comes. Before the consciousness develops, you remain as a caste because you are born in that caste. But this caste consciousness developed by these caste parties. That is the work of these caste parties. Okay. Similarly, linguistic parties. Those parties who speak about son of the soil theory, whichever party that is, either Assam Gana Parishad or Nam Tamil or Shiv Sena, whichever the party that is, son of the soil theory. What kind of consciousness, the kind of consciousness they try to develop? They say you are in a continuous struggle against the people of other language. They have come and occupied your space, but you are the son of the soil. So slowly what they try to do, they try to develop the consciousness that you are oppressed. Correct? All this formulation comes from this so influential formulation of Karl Marx, which he gave in 1850s. Okay. So this understanding, but Marx have never said about all these castes and other things. He only said about the class. Okay, I am extending it so that it will be helpful for us in the paper 1 section B also, so that you can use this formulation to write out how caste parties, religious parties, these and linguistic parties are trying to develop a consciousness. So you can also use this formulation there, so I extended it. So according to Marx, class is the basic category which you cannot escape. You cannot escape class. Everyone must be member of a class. And just because you earn in one particular way for the mode of production, you constitute into a class, but you actually become a class only when you start your continuous struggle against the opposing class. Only in your continuous struggle against the opposing class, you actually become a true class, what Marx calls class for itself. Class for itself. Any doubt in this, guys? Any doubt in this? Online students also? Any doubt, ask me. Any doubt? Right, hope all of you understood this. Okay. Now having understood what is a class, now let's go to the stages of development of history. Okay. In a Marxist thought, we already told you, history consists of many stages based on the mode of production. Okay. This is not probably the only way we have to understand. Marx analyzed, studied the history of European society. So, he studied and analyzed the history of European society, and based on the European experience, he categorized these societies. Okay. Only based on European experience. So, every region will have different stages. Okay. We cannot be extremely historically determinist and say this is what all human society, all mankind will pass through. Marx has never said like that. Based on European experience, based on study of European history, Marx said this is how the mankind, or especially the Europe, has passed through different stages of history. So, what is the signifying part of one stage of history? The way by which they produce, mode of production. How one stage of history is different from other stage of history? The way by which they produce the mode of production. That is how Marx differentiates. For another historian, probably they will write history based on kings. Okay, they will write about Chola period, then Pandya period, then they will write about Mughal period or Sultan period. Right? That is how they write. Then British period. That is their way of categorizing. They saw history based on politics. But for Marx, that is only a superstructure. You do not want to categorize history based on politics. Who are Cholas? Who are? They are only expression of the mode of production. Okay. So the real history should be classified not based on kings who ruled you, but based on what made to rule them, nothing but the mode of production. You understood? Okay. This is what basic. Based on the mode of production, one form of government comes. Cholas came, Mughals came. You understood? Initially we had republics. The caste system came. Every village caste rulers started to come. British came. It is based on the mode of production the rulers come, not the other way around. In the Marxist thought. So, classifying history based on kings is stupid, according to Marx. This is not the way it should be done, because it is only a superstructure. What it is going to help you to understand? Nothing. From the point of view of Marx. See, Chola ruled us. Okay, then Pandya came. What is the difference? But here he says, no, there is a specific difference in the mode of production. In first mode of production, these were the classes. Second mode of production, different classes. Next mode of production, different classes. So this is how history has to be understood. Not by the way by which our history books writes. Like this king came, then that king came. You understand? So history should be understood in this way, according to Marx, not in the way how we read. So what is the way? So one society after revolution gives birth to another society, and that society after revolution gives birth to another society, and new society is born after a revolution. Why revolution happens? Because of contenting classes. So every society has two or more classes which fight among each other. You understand? And at the end of every epoch, a revolution becomes inevitable. What is the reason? We will see. So a new society is born. In the new society, a new classes is born. New property relation is born. New forms of government is also born. But instead of understanding this, what our textbooks are doing, instead of understanding this, according to Marx, our textbooks are writing, okay, Romans ruled this way, then these people came, these people ruled. What is the use? What is the use? Ask Marx. You are not understanding the society then. The social history, if you have to understand the social history, you have to understand what the people did, how the people struggled with another people, what is the basic of the struggle, and how revolution came, how new society was born. That is how we have to understand history, according to Marx. So he studied the total European history and figured out this is how European history moved. Forget the Romans, forget the Germans. These people rule, that people rule, forget everything. These are only superstructure. These are only superstructure. The kings, all other people are only superstructure. Forget who is Charles I, Charles II, when he came, forget everything. These are superstructure. Okay? But what is the most important thing you should always remember? What are the contending classes? How these classes fought against the other class, and how the revolution was born, and how the new society came. That is what you have to remember. This is the social history that we are speaking about. Understand? According to Karl Marx. Okay? So, the production of material life is the first act of victory. According to Karl Marx, the human society is moving from a state of imperfect stage of material production towards a perfect stage of material production ushered by struggles among the contending classes. We already saw this. So, the history is moving from imperfect stage to a perfect stage. Always remember this. So, in this diagram, I have shown you different historical stages of Europe. Primitive communism, this is where history primitively starts, but the true history does not start there. The true history starts only from the slave owning society. Slavery, slave owning society. Because in certain writings of Karl Marx, this primitive communism is not there. Okay, he starts directly from the slave owning society. Only in certain writings of Marx, this primitive communism or Asiatic mode of production, or sometimes we call it as Germanic mode of production, comes. Okay, otherwise it is not there. So we have to understand, I will give you the explanation very soon. We have to understand the history generally do not start with primitive communism. This is where slowly the history starts maybe. The real history starts with the slave owning mode of production. Okay, then as we know in the Marxist theory, there would be many classes in the slave owning society, and the classes would have fought against each other till a moment that what Marx called as epoch. So at the end of every epoch, Marx believes a revolution becomes inevitable. So a revolution would have come at the end of slave owning society. Suddenly all the property relations or all the relations that existed in the slave owning society was broken, was shattered, and a new society was born, and that is called as feudal society. Okay, again in feudal society many classes come into being. Okay, and again those classes fight against each other, and a moment comes where again a revolution comes. New society is born with new property relations, nothing but capitalist society. And when Marx was writing, what society was there? Capitalist society. Okay, so Marx believed how from the primitive communism slavery came, how from slavery because of revolution feudalism came, how from feudalism because of revolution capitalism came. Similarly, a revolution is inevitable, is going to come. Marx believed that a revolution is inevitable and it is going to come, and a new society will be born, and Marx named the society called as socialism. You understood? So this is the kind of the vision that Marx gave to all the working class people, all the members of the Communist Party. He said, this is what you are going to get, guys. This is what you are going to get. So don't worry. Don't worry. Wait for the time. Wait for the time. One day, surely a revolution will come, and all these capitalist bourgeoisie people will be thrown away. A new society will be born. In that new society, you will be ruling. Dictatorship of proletariat. This is the hope that Marx gave to all the working class people who have been oppressed in factories. That is the reason Marxism became very famous. See, This hope was first time highly formulated in the book called as Communist Manifesto. It was published in 1848. Communist Manifesto. If you read Communist Manifesto, I suggest all of you read. It's a very small book, only 50-60 pages. See, it's like a mass movie. It's like a mass movie. All these mass movie screenplay is actually taken from Communist Manifesto. First, they will introduce the villain. Okay, that is capitalism. First 10-20 pages, the villain will rule. They will oppress the working class. Okay. Then suddenly they will introduce the hero, the hope. The hope is the Communist Party and the belief that revolution will come. Okay. And they will tell about how the revolution will come. Then they will grand finale where the fight between the capitalists and the bourgeoisie, by the bourgeoisie and the working class. They will say after the revolution you are going to rule. A dictatorship polity will come and we will finish with the hope. Don't worry, workers of the world unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains. You can overthrow this capitalism. Happy ending. Okay, this is how the Communist Manifesto is so easy to read. Once you start, you will not stop it. 50-60 pages. It's a kind of a hope that Marx gave to the European working class at that point of time. Don't worry, a revolution is coming. This is how the history has shown us. Revolution is inevitable. At every point of time in history, at the end of every epoch, revolution has come, and this is the time that revolution is going to come, Marx said. So Communist Party members, start working, unite all the working class. I will tell you what are the dictates that Marx gave you. I have a slide. Okay. So unite all the working class, wait for the correct time. The time for the revolution is going to come. Then you also take part in the revolution and the dictatorship policy, very soon it will come. Then you will rule all the people, all the private property, everything will be nationalized in the socialist society. There will not be any private property at all. Why there will not be any private property? Because Marx believed that is how the world is moving. That is how the world is moving. All these ills is because of private property. All these ills, the slavery, the feudalism, capitalism, all these ills in the society, the class formation is because of this private property. Okay. So once the private property is abolished, and Marx believed the history is moving in such a way that definitely private property will be abolished. Definitely. In one day it will happen. One day it will happen. Today there will be many non-believers here. According to Marx, many non-believers here, you will not believe this, how sir? But Marx said, no, wait. The time is going to come when the private property will start to show its own contradiction. It will start to show its own contradiction. Because for Marx, capital is a social power. It cannot be privately owned. Capital itself is a social power which cannot be privately owned. So the internal contradiction of capital will break the capital. Marx believed, will break the capital. So it is inevitability of socialism. The Marxist thought, even if you do nothing, even the Communist Party members, the working class people do nothing, socialism is going to come. Socialism is going to come because that is how the world is moving. The capital has changed forms. The slave owning society, some kind of capital. In the feudal society, another kind of capital. In the capitalist society, the new kind of capital where capital is all pervasive. Without money, we cannot do anything in this world. Marx writes, without money, you cannot do anything in this world. So capital is becoming all pervasive. It is started to control every aspect of human life in the capitalist society, and that is going to show a lot of contradictions. That is going to show a lot of contradictions. Wait for the time. Just because now capital is controlling everyone's life, a time is going to come very soon where capital will break, socialism will emerge. Understood? Inevitability of socialism. So what is the work of the Communist Party? Wait for the time, organize all the class, develop the class consciousness, the time will come, then you can lead and create the revolution, which is the bourgeois society itself is pregnant. It is inevitable. You understood? So, according to Marx's thought, how slavery came from how slavery came from primitive communism, how feudalism came from slavery, how capitalism came from feudalism. In a similar way, a revolution is going to come and socialism is going to come born out of the ashes. It is going to be born out of the ashes of capitalism. Okay? And from the socialist society, a new society, that is what the vision of Marx, a communist society will emerge, which is a classless society. Okay, we will see that. Any doubt till now? Online students? Okay, online students, please interact with me then and there. Becomes easy for you to understand also. Right, any doubt till now? Okay, we will proceed further. See, understand these concepts very clearly. Once you understand concept, political science is a very easy subject. I am telling you. Okay, it is about understanding the concept. Only a small thing that you have to understand, that's it. Otherwise, it's a very easy subject. Okay. So, type of society, what are the contending classes? Okay. Primitive communism, I think it's a spelling mistake. Right. Primitive communism. What are the contending classes there? There is no classes. Why there is no classes? It's the most important thing. A class develops in a Marxist thought only when production starts as a huge, productive forces develop, huge mode of production comes. Because what is a class? The way by which you get revenue from the mode of production. But in the primitive communist stage, where you live like a tribe, a nomadic tribes, where you go, you kill animal, you eat jointly. So there cannot be any good productive force as such. Once the productive force is not developed, there will not be any classes. So in primitive communism, classes do not exist. Classes do not exist. And then slave owning society. Oh, again, spelling mistake. Owning, O-W-N, slave owning society. Right. So what are the contending classes? See, again, don't understand only these two classes was there. This is not a two class theory like how most of the books misinterpret Karl Marx. There were many classes. For that is the reason feudal society have put 4 classes. Okay, landlord serfs, guild master, journeyman. But why I have put that verses is because these are the opposing classes. So one class opposing the another class. That is the reason I have put verses. Because there are many classes. You should not understand that only 2 classes exist. Okay. So because Marx has not written hugely about these societies, he has written only some 1 paragraph or maybe 1 page for these things, and he has gone through. So he has not explained what are the different classes. He is not a historian. He only used historical method to explain politics. Understand? He is not a historian to say what are the different kinds of classes existed. He is not a historian. He used historical method. What is the method of Karl Marx? Historical method. Okay. So slave owning societies, slave owners was one class, slaves was another class. What was the mode of production then? The slave owner will live happily. He will not do anything. He will be having one slave, and the slave will be producing everything. From the morning to evening, the slaves, the family of slaves. Okay. Aristotle justifies slavery. All people justify slavery during the Greek times and all the ancient times. Even India we had slavery. Many historians, Tamil historians, after studying Sangam literature say slavery existed in Sangam literature also, Sangam times also, in Tamil Nadu. So no society can escape slavery. Every society slave trade was there. Some kind of slave trade in the earlier times. 2500 BC, 3000 BC, the time might differ. The time might differ, but some kind of slave trade did exist in most societies. Okay. So where the slaves were, because they will go and capture slaves and come, because they have captured slaves, these people live happily. The mode of production is slave owning. The slaves will do all the work, and all the money, all the things that is earned by the slaves will be appropriated by the slave owner, and the slave will be given only very few things for their living. Slave owning society. So Marx believed this society existed, and at the end of the slave owning society epoch, a revolution came. And what was born? A feudal society. So what were the contending classes in the feudal society? Many classes again was there. Okay. Landlords was one class which was directly pitted against which class? Serfs. Okay. And guild master was another class which was directly pitted against which caste? Journeyman. Apprentice. Okay. Journeyman is an apprentice, simply put it. Okay. Guild master is nothing but a person who runs the guild, any merchant guild. So as I already told you, I hope I remember told you. So if in the ancient India, if you want to do some job, learn some art of like craft or this kind of any carpentry or something, what you have to do? You have to go and search for a guild which does this carpentry work, masonry work, any work. And you have to join that guild, okay, as a journeyman. You will not be given any money. For example, if you are attached to the particular guild for 20 years, you will not be given any money. You will be taught, and some food they will give you, some dress they will give you for another 10 years or 20 years. You will be attached, you will be bonded like a slave. Okay, not like a real slave, but close to a slave. Okay, 10 years, 20 years you have to work along with this guild master. You will be oppressed hugely. Okay, your family, everyone will be oppressed because you are working under the guild. Okay. Then you will be detached after the agreement ends. Then probably you will be allowed to start your own guild. But what you will do? You will also do the same thing what your guild master did. You start a guild after the agreement ends, say after 20 years, and you also do the same thing to the next journeyman. Journeyman or apprentice. Okay, simple logic. So all these societies in Indian history, we call this as Shreni, basically. These guilds we call this as Shreni in Indian history. Okay. So every society they had their own guild system. It was not that it was only common to Europe. Guild system was there in every society. Right. So in feudal society, as I told you, there were many classes, but certain classes were extremely opposite to each other. So that is how I put it. Landlord versus serfs, guild versus the journeyman. A revolution came. Marx cites the glorious revolution of England, the French Revolution, as the bourgeoisie revolution. Marx says that is the bourgeoisie revolution, and capitalism is born in France after French Revolution. Capitalism is born in England after glorious revolution of England. So Marx cites that his evidence to his point of view. Evidence to his point of view that a revolution like how the French Revolution came in 1789. Wait, another revolution is going to come, which is going to be the socialist revolution. In a capitalist society which came after the French Revolution or the glorious revolution of England, again there were many classes. Just now we saw capitalist class, working class, landlord class, banker class, writer class, doctor class, many classes just now I told you. But Marx says, this era of capitalism has a distinctive feature. This era of capitalism has a distinctive feature. What is that distinctive feature? It has simplified class antagonisms. It has simplified class antagonisms. All different classes are get subsumed into these two great classes. Two great classes. Doctors. If you do your own business separately, you form into a separate class. But you work under a big corporate company like an Apollo or a Fortis India, then you are also working class. Understand? You are also working class. That is what Marx says. In Communist Manifesto, you would have told about how capitalism reinvents different ways or forms of capitalism. Corporatism has come now. Okay, new ways because of the productive forces. New ways of oppression come. Because of this, all the small classes like petty bourgeoisie, doctors, all these classes get subsumed into either capitalist class or bourgeoisie class. Today, agriculture is also done in a capitalist way. Corporate companies buy lands, huge amount of lands, 100 acres, 200 acres, and based on the same capitalist principle, they invest money, corporatists, there is no you will be knowing, in a general corporate company, there is no owner basically, there is only a promoter. Okay, all these Ambanis, Adanis are not owner of a company, they are only promoters of a company. Okay. For example, they will be having more than 50% of the share in the company, and that is the reason they are called as promoters. There are also many other shareholders also, and there will be board of directors, and only the board of directors will be deciding about the future of the company. But these people like Ambani, Adani will be a promoter of the particular company because they hold most shares. Technically speaking, they are not real owners of the company, they are only promoters of the company, and probably they will be having the post of, because their position in the board of directors, okay, they will be having the topmost post. That's how it goes. So technically speaking, there is no one owner for a company today. It is owned by many people. More than 1,000, 10,000, 2,000. Many people claim to be whoever has the share of the company, supposedly owner of the company. Right. So everyone now, maybe Tamil Nadu, we do not have the culture of buying shares. When you go to Mumbai, share market is huge. Even a laborer will have some share because that is their culture. Mumbai culture is completely different. They know, everyone knows something about share market, how to buy and sell shares. Okay, which company share to buy, where to invest. Everyone will have some idea about share market. But our culture is not like that basically, right? So they develop different ways. Today, agriculture is also done through corporate model. Some corporate company which is owned by many people, some board of directors buys huge set of agriculture land, and you employ a lot of laborers and you do agriculture. That is what Marx said. Slowly and steadily capitalism will develop new ways so that all the small classes will vanish and get subsumed into two great classes. One side capitalist, another side working class, bourgeoisie and proletariat. So this epoch, the epoch of capitalism, has simplified the class antagonisms, Two great classes are facing directly each other. You understood? So Marx said revolution is inevitable. Then comes another class, after the revolution in the capitalist society, new society is born, that is called as a socialist society. What Marx calls as socialism. Right? So immediately when the socialism is born, what they will do? They will abolish all private property. They will abolish all private property. Technically, that is how world is moving. Abolishing of private property is inevitable. That is how world history is moving in a Marxist thought. Marx believed in that event. That is the reason Marx is also highly criticized, just because he believed in the event. Marx believed in this world of history, movement of history. Marx believed socialism will definitely come. Marx believed that all the private property will be nationalized. Marx believed this will happen for sure. You cannot escape this event. One day there will not be any private property at all. There will not be any private property. All land, everything will be nationalized. That time is going to come. For sure in the Marxist thought. For sure it will come. Understood? So, the working class, according to Marx, will be the ruling class. Okay. In the capitalism, who was the ruling class? The Marxist thought any class which controls the means of production, any class which controls the means of production also controls the means of mental production. So all kinds of ideas prevailing in the society, any idea of marriage, any idea of politics, any idea of caste, any idea of religion, any idea take it, will be controlled by which class? The class which controls the means of material production. In this era of capitalism, which class is controlling the means of material production? Capitalism. Capitalism, capitalists, they are controlling. Bourgeoisie, they are controlling. Correct? So, in this era of capitalism, the bourgeoisie controls the means of material production. They control everything. So, ideally, they will also control all the means of mental production, all ideas that is prevalent, all ideas, anything, take an idea about caste, idea about religion, dominant religion, any idea, all these are superstructure, all these are superstructure. Who dictated the superstructure? Who determined what kind of caste should be there? Who determined what kind of religion should be there? Who can determine which religion should be dominant, which religion should be secondary, which caste should be dominant, which caste should be secondary, which language rules, which language does not rule? A lot of arguments. In politics, we speak about language politics, religious politics, caste politics. In Marxist thought, all these are only superstructural arrangements. These discussions are superstructural discussions. Okay. Because which class is controlling invariably? It is only the capitalist class. Only the capitalist class. That is the reason even Indian national movement, that I have not taken it, next week I will take it. Even Indian national movement, Marxists, how they criticize Indian national movement. They say this Indian national movement is done by capitalist class people. Who is Nehru? Son of a very big businessman. Who is Motilal Nehru, his father? Son of a bigger businessman. Take all the great people who ruled us in the name of Congress. That was the criticism even Periyar levied against Congress. Why Periyar was highly against Congress in Tamil Nadu? He said all the people who are in the Congress, either they are landlords or they are capitalists. Okay. So what is the use? And also they are Brahmins. That's a different story, according to Periyar. Okay. Right. But according to Marx and communists, they will say all these people who are in the Congress at that point of time are nothing but a capitalist or a landlord who wanted to control the means of production. That is the reason W.H. Morris, one of the constitutional experts who has written about Indian constitution, Indian politics, comments on Indian politics and says the same leaders, the bourgeoisie leaders and the capitalist leaders inside the Indian Congress was sidelined after suddenly Nehru taking socialism. Nehru, even though he was a capitalist by birth, takes socialism as his path. And once lot of socialist policies started to come in India, okay, these capitalist leaders, landlord leaders inside Indian National Congress started to be sidelined. Okay, so they started to criticize Congress from 1960s. Comments W.H. Morris. They started to come to them, other parties, different parties they started to form. One example is Morarji Desai's Janata, which was against Indira Gandhi. Okay, because Indira Gandhi pursued a lot of socialist politics. And Morarji Desai is a person who believed in a lot of landlord politics. The politics rooted in this capitalist society. So a lot of criticisms. Right. Okay. So this is what a capitalist society is, coming back. This is what a capitalist society is. So in a capitalist society, the class that is controlling the means of production will invariably control all the ideas. Correct? All the ideas that is there. So after the end of every epoch, a revolution is inevitable. Similarly, a revolution is going to come. Socialist society is going to be born. So Marx says. Now who is going to take all the mantle? Who is going to take all the leadership? This is not the capitalists who are the leaders in the previous society, but it is the working class who are the oppressed in the previous society. Now they will take the leadership. Dictatorship of proletariat. Proletariat is another name for working class. Dictatorship of proletariat would come. The working class will own power, political power. This political power was not given to the working class in the capitalist society. Who holded the political power in the capitalist society? Capitalists, bourgeoisie. They had the political power. But once the socialist society is born, which is inevitable, who is going to get all the political power now? The working class. Who will be deprived of all the political power? The capitalist class. So it's upside down. The society is going to change upside down. All private property will abolish. The capitalism will lose its color. The capitalist will lose its color. But still, class consciousness exists. See, for example, in my 50th year, okay, socialism comes. But all these 50 years, I have lived like a capitalist. Suddenly some working class is going to rule. But my consciousness will always be a capitalist consciousness. Even though today I will not have any private property, today I cannot start business. But 50 years I have lived my life as a businessman. Today everything has been nationalized. But my consciousness will be a bourgeoisie consciousness, will be a capitalist consciousness. That is the reason Marx says even a socialist society is not a classless society. Even that society has a class. You understood? Class is not just about class in itself. It's a class for itself. It's about class consciousness. It's about class consciousness. Only if the class consciousness get negated, only if the class consciousness, the traditions of the dead generations is negated from your mind, a true classless society is possible in the Marxist thought. Understood? That is the reason Marx says, even though immediately socialism is born, immediately all private property is abolished, you cannot expect a classless society, because class in itself as a category might have been abolished. But in the consciousness of the mind of the people that is there, class still exists. It will take some time. It will take some time for even that consciousness to wither away. And Marx believed that time will happen, the time will come, a new society will be born. That is the communist society. There even class consciousness do not exist. When class consciousness do not exist, society which is truly classless, even in the consciousness level, at the ground level also, it is truly classless. Such a society would be born. Understood? That society is called as communist society. Any doubt till now, guys? Online? Yes, I have got a doubt. Very good. He has deleted it. Okay. Right. Any doubt till now, guys? Oppressor is the working class. Everyone else, that is the reason I put like this. Working class or ruling class with others submitting. See, that is the reason Marx called as a dictatorship of proletariat. Dictatorship. The word dictatorship, even though he has taken that from Bakunin, the word clearly says that there is some kind of oppression that also exists. Because other class people, they have a different consciousness as such. Immediately I will not accept the working class policies. Correct? So, at least at the mental level, at the consciousness level, I feel some kind of oppression. Even though the true oppression might not exist. See, even though you are a working class, now you are in power, you might not oppress me, but because I am a capitalist, 50 years I have lived my life as a capitalist, suddenly all private property, all my power has been taken away, I will feel the oppression, correct? Till the communist society is born, my consciousness level matures to the level that I understand this is inevitable. Till that level, I will feel oppression. So we cannot say oppressor do not exist. That's a wrong way of understanding Marxism. Oppressor did exist. Oppression did exist. At least the oppressed people, all of the people other than the working class, understood the oppression. Okay, till the communist society is born. That is where no oppression, nothing. That is where. Okay, that is the reason Karl Marx wanted to call that as a communist party. What is the reason for calling that as a communist party? Communist party is a party which is striving to create a communist society, a classless society. All of the people before Karl Marx were settled with socialism. All of the people. They wanted to privatize they wanted to nationalize all private properties. That's what the maximum they thought about. Okay. All of the people, they said, even say Robert Owen, Charles Fourier, all socialists. What they said? Let's nationalize all private properties. All problem will be solved. Marx said, a problem will not be solved then that time when you privatize. The time you cannot choose it. The time you cannot choose it. The time is inevitable. The history has shown a time. Only in that moment. Simple example is, I always used to say this example. If you have seen the Sami movie in Tamil movie, in that movie a scene would come. He is a police officer and the people will come and say that my sister has been raped. So I am going to kill the person who has raped my sister. And the hero would say, the police officer would say, this is not the time. Okay? I will tell you when to kill your person who raped your sister. Because when you go now, you will definitely lose. You will definitely lose. I will tell you the time. Similarly, after the end, the climax, the hero will call all the people and say, this is the time has come. Now you go, okay, you can kill the person who raped your sister. Simple logic. This is what Marx has said. All the socialists do not understand the movement of history. They are utopians. The movement of history will show a definite time. Only in that time revolution is possible. Okay, in that time only you have to nationalize. And if you do that correctly, then that society is inevitably going towards another society called as communist society, a classless society. That is what Marx said. Believe in this concept. That is the reason he called it as communist party. Communist party. Believe in this concept. He asked all the members of the communist party to propagate this concept. Believe in this. Wait for the time. A communism is going to be born. A classless society is going to be born. Understood? Okay. So that is the reason only communist society is a classless society. Any doubt in this, guys? Online students. Okay. Any doubt? Can we proceed further? Right. Okay. Theory of revolution. So I have told you, right now we were discussing, revolution is inevitable. Revolution is inevitable. A time will come. In that time, revolution is inevitable. What is that time? What is that time? That's very important, right? What is that time? Marx again gives a situation. Only in this time a revolution is possible. The Marxist thought. What is that time? At the end of every epoch, a situation will come where, because of the newly developed productive forces, what is the productive forces? The technology, the quality of labor, this is the productive forces. Because of the newly developed productive forces, a situation will come such a way that these productive forces becomes incompatible with previously existing property relations and relations of production. I will give you an example. Marx gave the same example. The invention of steam engine. What this has did? Before the steam engine was invented, this is the productive force, the new productive force, steam engine. Before that was invented, what was the mode of production? Village based mode of production. All people worked in land. Maximum in a village, maybe there will be some 100 workers, and all workers, one person will be working here, another person may be working there, another person will be working there. Big land, correct? So that is how the mode of production was, small village based. Okay, but what this steam engine, invention of steam engine has did, what this has did, the new productive force, what is this did? One steam engine at that point of time will be the size of this building. So big will be the steam engine. So for that, working in the steam engine, you need minimum 100 people in a small place. So all people has to concentrate in a small place. Okay, this contradicted the earlier relation. What is the earlier relation? Okay, the earlier relation is morning 6 o'clock you go to field, by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock you come, and you live near your house itself, you work near your house itself. This is not the case. Steam engine cannot be brought to your house. You have to go to the factory. Correct? And so if you want to create your house nearby the factory, slums started to develop. Okay, you started to understand. So because of the steam engine, again property relations. Before that, all people holded property. Okay, I mean landlords will be having some kind of land, and all the other people maybe 1 acre, 0.5 acre, many people did not have any land also. That was the property relation then, and a kind of bondedness was there. For example, already we discussed in the last class, India, the bondedness is because of caste system. In Europe, the bondedness is because of the noble system that was there. So morning to evening you have to compulsorily work in the landlord's field, only then you can work in your field. Can this kind of relations of production is applicable in this capitalist steam engine? Tell me, think. Morning you can work in your steam engine. What is my steam engine? I don't own any steam engine. So you cannot have any bondedness there, free labor. Anyone come from the village, settle down in a factory nearby a slum. Okay, then what you have to do? Anyone can join any factory. It was not the case before. The feudal relations of production, it was not the case. You cannot go to any field. You are tied to a field. You are tied to a field. But here, what is the relations of production is capitalism today because of the invention of steam engine. Suddenly a steam engine was invented in 1700s. So what happens? The bindedness broken. You come out of the village, you are not binded to any steam engine, you can work in any steam engine. Steam engine A or B or C or D. Whichever city you want you can go. You go to Manchester or you go to some other city or some other city, you go everywhere. Okay. Free labor is mandated. What mandated this new relations of production, guys? Here new relations of production based on the steam engine. Based on this free labor. The bondedness is broken, the property relations of owning a land, and around that you have some other land, even though you have a land or not, you have to work in the, all this is broken today. All this system is broken today because of invention of one steam engine, which is nothing but a new productive force. Why? Marx says, because this productive force that is developed, the steam engine that is developed, becomes incompatible with previously existing feudal relations. With the same feudal relation, you cannot run a capitalist machinery or a capitalist economy. You cannot run. You understand? So, your new relations is inevitable. But who will not let that go so easily? The landlords. So, came the revolution. They will not let that power go. The landlords, they have been having the political power all these years. 3,000 years, maybe say 1,000 years. Will they give the superior upper caste? Will they leave their power so easily? They will not. Because they have been enjoying the power for so many years. That is the reason Marx said. So the feudalism to capitalism, the transition was not easy. Because the productive forces has come. The time has ripe. The class antagonism also developed with the bourgeoisie, with the developed landlords. The bourgeoisie is the people, the newly developed people there. Okay, revolution was inevitable. Revolution came, new bourgeoisie evolution came, and new classes was born. But oppression existed, classes only changed. You understood? That is why we have to understand. So, inevitably a revolution comes only if this situation comes. What is that situation? When the newly developed productive forces becomes incompatible with the already existing property relations and relations of production. Full stop. If you remember this line, this simple line, your theory of revolution is over. Simple line. Okay. When the newly developed productive forces become incompatible with previously existing property relations or relations of production. Remember this example which I gave. Because of the steam engine, how the previously existing relations of production in the feudal setup became incompatible, and a new capitalist, see, every new law started to come because of this steam engine, other invention of new technologies. That is what Marx believed. Socialism will also be born in a similar way. In a similar way, new technologies will be born. New technologies will be born. That technology cannot be owned by one owner. Okay, so you need multiple owners. That is what has happened. Corporatism, multiple owners, and again new technology will come, where Marx believed, because the development of such a productive force, highest form of capitalism, you cannot have private property at all. The situation will go to such a stage that you will not have private property at all. If you have private property, it becomes incompatible with the newly developed productive force. So you will be forced to nationalize everything. Okay, all property should be commonly owned. That will happen. A socialist society is inevitable. Okay, that is what Marx believes. This is what the theory of revolution of Marx. So only in this time a revolution is possible, not before that. But till that, what this working class has to do? Wait for the time. Create class consciousness. Wait for the time. Create class consciousness. Okay. Understand the movement of history. Understand. First of all, you have to understand the movement of history. How the history goes. That is what he says to all the Communist Party workers. Understand the movement of history. It is scientific. That is the reason Marx called his socialism scientific socialism. It is scientific. Even if you go 1 year before that, you cannot do a revolution. Civil war in France. The people tried a revolution, but it was a failure. Marx wrote extensively on civil war in France. Okay. Why it became a failure? Okay. Somewhere around 1870s, 1871. Okay. So everything has a time. Everything has a time. So only at that time a revolution is possible. Before that time, even how much you try, you cannot bring a revolution in the Marxist thought. So the time is this. The time is this. Again, this is a very, very influential formation. Okay, this was used by all the caste parties and religious parties to create a kind of myth of time for caste revolution, other kind of revolution. Okay. Again, whatever the Marxists said, from the Marxist thought, it has gone to many other formulations also, like caste, religion. Many parties, if you read their ideology, everything will have some kind of Marxist influence, which Marx has written in Communist Manifesto. Right. That is the reason I always used to say, at least one time you read Communist Manifesto. Okay, you will understand how the world politics is moving. Okay. Okay. Can I proceed further? Revolution in the capitalist society. Our epoch, the epoch of the bourgeoisie, possess, however, this distinctive feature. It has simplified the class antagonisms. Society is more and more splitting up into two great hostile clans, into two great classes directly facing each other. the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. Okay. So the way by which this capitalism is moving today, the way by which capitalism develops new methods, all of the small classes is going to get subsumed into either bourgeoisie or proletariat. Okay. So at the end of the epoch, there will be only two classes, bourgeoisie and the proletariat. But during the time of capitalism, there are many classes. But at the end of the defining moment, the moment where the revolution is going to come, that defining moment, only two classes would be there. One is bourgeoisie, the other side there is a proletariat. Understood? Right. They have they have no ideals to realize but to set free the elements of new society with which the old collapsing bourgeois society itself is pregnant. So you have to wait for the time for the pregnancy. Just because the child is there, you cannot cut and take the child in 5th month. Okay, the doctor will tell a time. Only after 9 months. Okay, only after 9 months you can take the child out. Correct? You have to wait for everything has a time. Okay, so the time of pregnancy is very important. So what the working class people are going to do? They are going to do nothing. They are going to do a nurse job, a job of a nurse or a doctor. They will do nothing. Everything will be a natural process. The child will be born, the child will be developed inside the mother's womb. Everything is a natural process. But at the end of the day, after 9 months, when the time comes, what the doctor and the nurse will do? They only cut and take the child out. That's it. But they will charge lakhs of rupees. That's a different story. Okay. But what they are going to do? Only they are going to cut and take it. The child development, what they will? Nothing. Everything is a natural process. It will take place in the mother's womb automatically. You have to wait for the time. You should know the exact time when the child will be born. That's it. And you have to only cut and take the child out. Similarly, he uses the metaphor and explains. So, how the evolution is going to come now is inevitable. All that thing will automatically, a natural process, it will happen. It's a scientific process, it will happen. The time will come, you should know when the time is. And you are going to do nothing. Just create a revolution, and that defining moment, how a nurse and a doctor does. A new society will be born as a child. Take out the society. Which is a society? Socialist society. That's it. You need not do anything else. It is a natural process, like how a child develops in the mother's womb. Understood? Very, very simple metaphor to you to understand. Actually, Marx has simplified. Any doubt in this? Features of socialist society. Okay. As I told you, in a socialist society, it's a phase of history that comes after capitalism, where the working class will capture the political power and all the other private properties would be abolished. So here we have to tell you what is a private property, how it is different from individual property. In a typical Marxist thought, private property is a property that was used by the capitalist to do a business. Okay. Individual property are all those properties that is bought by an individual based on his revenue. Okay, for his own personal things. Okay, for example, I own this shirt, it's my individual property. Okay, I own a bike, that is my individual property. I do not do any business with that bike. If the same bike I rent to Rapido, okay, and do that as a business, that is banned. Then government will confiscate my bike because I am not allowed to do a business with help of any property that I own. You understood? So, individual property will not be nationalized. All the property which you bought because of the fruits of labor, because you worked, okay, that will not be nationalized. That you can hold it. But there is a small twist in the story. Your child cannot inherit it. Sir, hot water, hotness poiduche. Thank you. What is the twist? Your child cannot inherit. You can buy a house. You can buy a house. As long as you are alive, you can live in that house. That's it. To Marx, inheritance of property is the major problem. People do not work. People do not work because my father is a person, you already have a 2-story building for me. Okay, why should I work? Okay, because everything your father gives you, it is work of your father. So definitely he has to live in a 2-story building because he bought it. Why after his death you should enjoy it? There is no logic. In the Marxist, simple Marxism believes that the society should be there or should be created only for the people who are ready to work. Okay. You are not ready to work, you are not in Marx scheme of things. Okay. You are lazy, I don't want to work, don't come in. You are not in my scheme of things. Marx believed that every human being has the capacity to work. That is again his utopian belief, maybe. Again there is a criticism over Marx's beliefs. Thank you. Utopian thing over Marx's belief. Marx believed that everyone can work. Okay. So Marxism never worries about the people who cannot work, basically. Understand? So individual property will not be nationalized, only those private property. So what is the private property? A property that is used to do a business. Only that is a private property. And inheritance of property is not allowed in a state socialist society. You cannot hold your father's property. If that is the case, what the son will do? Somehow he will always keep his father alive. Somehow. For 100 years, even possible 200 years. Correct? Because that person, if he dies, the government will confiscate everything. Okay. So that is how the Marx social scheme was there. In socialism, they will privatize So they will nationalize all private property. Individual property based on your labor will be left, because that Marx believed that is the fruit of your labor. That gives you more incentive to work. See, I work heavily. I should be allowed to buy a car, a bike, because I work heavily. Correct? So I should enjoy my life. So no one can take my enjoyment because I am working. If I am not working, then you are not allowed to enjoy. Because you have to work in a communist scheme of things. In a socialist society, in a state socialist society, you have to work. If you are lazy enough, don't come here. Get out of the country. That's it. Okay. So that is what socialism is. So what is the key slogan of socialism? Very, very important. Always remember this. The difference between socialism and communism. From everywhere, according to their ability. Okay. Instead of putting everywhere, put everyone. I'll change this and send. From everyone according to their ability, to everyone according to their contribution. Okay, that is simple logic. I am a worker. Okay, everything is been nationalized. Everything is been nationalized. So everything is run by the government. I am a worker who is working for 10 hours a day. Okay, and I have another worker here. He works for 15 hours a day. Okay, 15 hours a day. So ideally, if I am paid 1000 rupees, he will be paid 1500 rupees. Why? Because he works 15 hours a day, I work only 10 hours a day, based on the proportion. From everywhere according to their ability. So how much ever I can work, I can work. Because my ability is only 10 hours. I cannot work 15 hours. That's maximum ability. So I work for 10 hours. To everyone according to their contribution. So since I work only for 10 hours, I will be given 1000 rupees. Since that particular person has worked for 15 hours, because that is his ability, he will be given incentive, 1500 rupees, based on the work, hours of work, based on the how much he has contributed. This is how a socialist society will be organized. Okay, socialist. So nationalize everything. Lenin did it. Okay, USSR tried it till 1954, and there's a 1951. So there's a story why USSR failed a little bit. Just the death nail to USSR starts with Stalin, where he tries the second level of communism. I'll tell you what it is. Till this moment, everything was fine. Till 1951, all the workers were given incentives based on their hours of work. From 1951, Stalin stopped it. He wanted the society to move towards communism. Okay, he artificially wanted the society to move towards, which is, according to Marx, artificially you cannot bring communism. Communism is automatic, it's a natural process. But still Stalin, since Stalin tried it artificially, they say slowly and steadily this communist, the socialist society, USSR crumbled and it is broken. Story, it's only point of view. Okay, any doubt in the socialism? Socialism is a society which comes after capitalism, where the proletariat will have the political power, dictatorship of proletariat, and all the private property will be nationalized. The individual property will not be nationalized. All the private property will be nationalized, and after nationalization, what will happen? This slogan is applicable. From everyone according to their ability, to everyone according to their contribution. Okay, how much ever you work, you can work. Okay, in a typical USSR, what happens is, you have to apply to the government for the job based on your qualifications, and the government will accept it, and everything you have to apply. For gold you have to apply, for car you have to apply. You have to explain the government why you need a car. Okay, so based on your explanation and based on that, the government, based on the ration system, will be only giving you all the cars and the bike. Everything will be produced by the nationalized government. Okay, everything was produced. Car was produced, bike was produced, everything was produced. But who gets what depends upon your position, how much you have contributed, okay, your value, and based on the ration system, the government will allocate. You have to apply for the gold and everything, and they will check your track record. Okay, how you have contributed to this socialist country. how you have worked, and all based on this they will give you the car and other things. Of course, they will take the salary out of it. Okay, that is how it was done. So in a socialist society in USSR till Stalin was there, everything was running almost correctly, in a sense that there were a lot of clubs free of cost. After working time you can go for clubs, and nowadays, you know, if you want to go to a cosmopolitan club or some club, it is lakhs. During the in USSR, it was not like that. Everyone will be treated similarly. You might be a banker, or you might be a government official, or you might be a normal laborer, but club is free for everyone. Okay, you go to the club, you enjoy with your children there in the club after working hours. Everything is free. That is how it happened in USSR initial years, till probably till the time of Stalin. Only slowly after the death of Stalin, and even during the time of Stalin, there was a lot of oppression. We will discuss it later in international relations. And then slowly, steadily, the USSR scumbled. Okay, the only socialist society that we know, hugely. China was a different kind of a socialist society. We will discuss that later, again in a year. Okay. So, any doubts in socialist society? Now, let us go to the communist society. So, this is what the communist society is. Slowly and steadily, the state withers away. The state control. Marx is not a person who believes in state control, a kind of a police system and all this. He wanted human being like a free people. Okay. In the morning, if you want to go to fishing, I have to go for fishing in the morning. There should not be any person who restricts me. I should be completely free. In the evening, I have to go for some job, I have to go for some job. Okay. Every human being should live the life like this, happily, enjoyably. But what restricts is this state. Okay. The oppression that is caused by state. But in a capitalist society, in a Marxist thought, state is inevitable. In a feudal society, state is inevitable. In a socialist society, also state is inevitable. Because only with the help of the state, the government that is there, what you do, the dictatorship of proletariat is done. But he believes in a communist society, the consciousness of the human being will go to that level. Slowly and steadily, what he says, management of people is replaced with administration of things. Did you understand? Management of people is replaced with administration of things. Economic is the basic activity. Now what you do in Panchayat Raj and in the parliament and everywhere, what you do? You sit, you discuss about so many other issues. You don't generally discuss about economics. You generally don't discuss about what to produce, when to produce, how to produce. Because everything is produced by the private businessmen. Correct? Everything is being produced by private businessmen. That is not the work of a parliamentarian. That is not the work of a Panchayat Raj. Correct? But Marx believed a society will come in such a way that the state control, the political power and the economic power will become juxtaposed in such a way that small communes will organize in itself. A small commune, maybe at the size of a small village, maybe size of 1 or 1.25 kilometers, 2 kilometers, where the people will sit and discuss about what to produce, how many shirts we need, how many chairs we need, how many fans we need, and what are the things that we need for our society. So who will do which work? Okay, so you are an engineer, so you work in this company, you are an engineer. So small institutions will come, college come, these institutions will come, where you get trained and you work for the society. Okay, it's a kind of a utopian belief. Okay, many people criticize Marx, how that can come. It's completely utopian in nature. It cannot come at all. But Marx believed a society will come, such a society will be born, where the people they will not be discussing about other parliamentary, like how the parliamentarians do now. Discuss about how to manage people, what people are to do. No, nothing. The economics and politics become purely juxtaposed there. You will sit and discuss about administration of things. Simple. What to produce, when to produce, how to produce. Which person is going to do a police job? Okay. Police is also needed. A little bit of police is also needed. So who will be doing the police job? Everything will be democratically decided. Okay, in a small communes. This concept of commune again was taken from Bakunin. Okay, Bakunin is also a very great thinker. He's an anarchist basically. For the people who do not know Bakunin, he's an anarchist. But there was a lot of problem between Bakunin and Karl Marx till the Second International. And from the Second International, Bakunin goes out of this communist fold of things. And Marx has taken a lot of writings from Bakunin also. Okay, he's an anarchist. Right? So dictatorship of proletariat, that concept, commune, that concept is everything taken from Bakunin. Okay, right. So small communes or small village societies, probably 1.5 or 2 kilometers radius, where the people will organize, where the state withers away, the state control withers away. Okay. So the management of people is replaced with administration of things. So what is the slogan for this society? Read the last line. From each according to their ability, to each according to their needs. So again, let's go to the same example. So I work for 10 hours a day. The nearby person is working for 15 hours a day. Okay. Even though he works for 15 hours a day, he is a bachelor. Okay. I work for 10 hours a day, but I have a dependent, my father and mother, 2 dependents, and my wife and 5 children. So I have some 9 people in my family. Okay. 9 people in my family. But this person, even though he works 15 hours a day, he is a bachelor. So the need of this person is lesser and need of me is higher. Because I have 9 person in my home. I work only 10 hours. That is my maximum ability. That is my maximum ability. From each according to the ability. I am not faking it. That's the maximum thing I can do. I cannot work more than that. But my need is higher. So Marx believed a communist society will come where, because my need is higher, I will be paid say 9,000 rupees because 9 person is a family, and he will be paid only 1,000 rupees only because only 1 person is a family. This is a kind of a level of consciousness where the people will go to that level, the people will reach to that level where people will not find it offensive. Now you might think it is offensive. Okay, I see a lot of people laughing, right? You might think this is offensive today. How come, sir? He is working 15 hours, you are working only 10 hours. Yes, because you have a capitalist consciousness today. Because today idea is being set by whom? Capitalist class. In this era of capitalism, today your mind is being controlled. All the people who are laughing, your mind has been controlled by capitalist ideas. Correct? That is what Marx has said. I am not telling it. So one day this class consciousness will go to that level. Your human consciousness level of that thinking will go to that level that you will never think that as a offensive. Okay, what's wrong? I have more needs. This person has more needs. He has 9 people in the family. I also work to maximum ability. I am not taking it. Maximum ability I can work only for 10 hours. I cannot work more than that. And that person can work 15 hours. Say for example, within 5 years he gets married and gives birth to twins. Okay, 5 twins. So 10 children. So then say that there will be some 12 people in his family, correct? Then after 5 years he will be getting more than me. Simple logic, because his need is higher. So the society will be organized based on needs. That is the vision of Marx. The society will be organized based on needs. He believed that the human society is moving towards that position. That is what we are heading towards. The world history, the history of the mankind is heading towards that position. Marx believed. That is the reason he called his party as Communist Party. He said all the workers believe in this movement of history. Believe in this movement of history. We are heading towards this society. Okay. So what is your work? We will see now. Any doubt till now? Any doubt till now? Any doubt? Okay. Online. Okay. Right. I have not taken Bayesian superstructure, is it? Okay. We will see the Bayesian superstructure a little bit now. Okay, we will go to that and come. Because already I told little bit yesterday. Okay. A famous quote of Ralph Miliband, a neo-Marxist thinker, a famous Marxist thinker, supposed to be the last Marxist thinker, orthodox Marxist thinker, Ralph Miliband. Right. Domination is central concept of Marxist sociology and politics. But domination in Marxist thought is not an inherent part of human condition. One person do not dominate another person because of his human condition. Okay. But inherent part of human condition, just as conflict is not a feature of human nature. I don't fight with you because of my nature in a Marxist thought. Because I do not like this light colored t-shirt person, so I am fighting with it because of my nature. That is not the case. But what is the case? Why people fight? So the Marxist thought, people fight because domination and conflict are inherent in class societies. In class societies. And are based on specific concrete features of their mode of production. So we fight not because of the human nature. I don't like you, you don't like me, not because of that. We fight because everything is rooted in the class societies. Okay. Societies where the antagonistic classes fighting against each other. Okay. This is the reason. Because there are classes in the society. Because we have common class interest. Because my class interest is against your class interest. Because your class interest, again, say the class interest of a capitalist will always be to oppose a worker. And the class interest of a worker will always be again the maximum out of the capitalist. So you have your own set of class interests, he has his own set of class interests. So because we organize ourselves into a class, because our class interests are different, class antagonism is very common, fight will happen. So when the contradiction, when this class interest, when this fights will end, when the classes end, and when that will come? In the communist society. Understood? Right. So the core of the Marxist politics is the notion of conflict. The conflict here is rooted in class societies. So in the Marxist thought, the conflict between the contending classes cannot be reconciled. Do you remember in liberals, I told you, reconciliation of interest. Liberals always believed in a platform like creating a parliament, creating any public, any like a panchayat raj system or something like that. Why they wanted to create these systems? Because that will serve as a place where people can sit and speak about the differences. Okay, you want this, I want this, okay, let's settle down. But in a Marxist thought, conflict between contending classes cannot be reconciled, but will grow enormously and induce the overthrow of the society itself. Okay. So it is inevitable that the very society, the class society will be overthrown. A new society will be born. It is inevitable. You cannot reconcile it. Whatever institution that you create a parliament, you create all this panchayat institution, anything you want you create to solve problems, like how the rebels believe. Right? But nothing will happen in the Marxist thought. Whatever institution that you create, political institution that you create, this class society, any society which has classes will definitely break down. And a new society of new classes will be born. Again, that society will all be broken down. Till a class of society is born. Understand? This is the natural process. It is inevitable. It is a natural process. Okay, so this reconciliation of interest, that concept itself is not applicable in Marxist politics. You do not believe it. They do not believe it. Okay, the focus is always on class antagonisms and class conflicts. So the task of Marxist politics is to show solidarity with the oppressed class. So what is the task of Marxist politics? You have to show the solidarity with the oppressed class. Okay, that is the revolutionary class through all its stages of struggle against the oppressing class till the revolutionary overthrow of the society happens. Okay. So the role of the Communist Party, So what is the role of the Communist Party? See, read it. Formation of the proletariat. Formation of the proletariat into a class. Overthrow of bourgeoisie supremacy. Conquest of political power by the proletariat. The fourth point is important. In the national struggles of the proletarians of different countries, they point out and bring to the front the common interest of the entire proletariat independently of the nationality. Okay. So, common interest of, say, for example, Indian proletariat, they will also have some common interest with the Pakistani proletariat. The same common interest with the Chinese proletariat. So, in the national struggles, okay, of the proletariat versus the capitalist, okay, you bring out the common points. That is also the work of the Communist Party, according to Karl Marx. Okay, bring out the common points, right? The various stages of development of the struggle, which the working class against the bourgeoisie has to pass through. So the struggle between the working class and the bourgeoisie has many stages. Okay, it continuously goes in the various stages. They always and everywhere represent the interest of the movement at the whole. Okay. So this is the role of the Communist Party. The last few lines, the most influential lines of the Communist Manifesto, okay, simplifies all the things that is discussed. Simplifies. What does it? In short, the communists everywhere support every revolutionary movement against the existing social and political order of things. Very, very important, guys. In short, the communists everywhere support every revolutionary movement. That is the reason you find the communists supporting a tribal movement, all rights movement, all the communist parties will support. The reason is Marx has said, you have to support, if it is revolutionary nature. If it is revolutionary nature, you have to support it. But always remember this. What do you remember? Political emancipation is the final form of human emancipation within the prevailing scheme of things. Political emancipation is the final form of human emancipation within the prevailing scheme of things. What is this? You fight for rights, civil right, political right, is nothing but political emancipation. You come from a Dalit group or you come from some tribal group, you want more Dalit rights, you want more tribal rights for your group, nothing wrong in it, fight for your rights. But always remember, as long as the prevailing scheme of things exists, as long as this capitalist scheme of things exists, as long as capitalism exists, the kind of the political right that you are getting, the kind of whatever right that you are getting, it is not the final. With respect to the human emancipation you really want, then this scheme of things you have to go down. This capitalism completely has to be abolished. A new classless society should be born. Only then the real rights for all the people will be realized. Till now, till then you can fight for your own rights and that will be hold good only in a capitalist society. That is needed. Marx is not against it. That is needed. That is the reason Marx says support everywhere, every revolutionary movement. That is needed. The tribes are oppressed, fight for them. Get them the rights. Dalits are oppressed, fight for them. Get them the rights. But always teach them. This is not the final. This is not the final. The real emancipation you can achieve only when the total scheme of things is being abolished. Only when, in other words, simple words, only when capitalism over. Teach them. First, fight them to get the rights in the capitalist scheme of things. Okay, get them rights, then teach them. Now you are getting some rights. Okay, some group rights you are getting it, but the real emancipation, the real freedom will be achieved only in a communist society, not in this capitalist society. So join us in our common fight against capitalist society. That should be the motto. So fight for the rights of all the revolutionaries, fight for them, join with them, fight for them, and after getting it, tell them, teach them. This is only a small emancipation, but the real emancipation, the true freedom, you can enjoy only when the revolution happens and the capitalist society is completely abolished. Till then, you cannot enjoy the true freedom. Teach them. You understood? Very, very important the Marxist thought. In all these movements, they bring to the front as the leading question in each the property question, no matter what the degree of development at the time. So always tell about the property question. As long as the private property is there, you cannot enjoy. Tell them. Tell about the problem of the property. Finally, they labor everywhere for the union and agreement of all democratic parties of all countries. Okay. Bring them an agreement. Who is oppressed, who is fighting for some kind of liberty and freedom, bring them an agreement. Teach them about the process of history. Bring them an agreement. Bring them an agreement. Wage a common struggle. Wage a common struggle. That is what communist parties across the world will do. They will fight for all the rights of all the people. They will join with the environmentalists. Everywhere they fight. Sometimes it becomes contradictory. That's the problem. Okay. But most of the time they will fight, and during the process of fight they will tell them, okay, now you have got these rights. As a Dalit you got this right, as a tribe you got this right, everything is fine. But this is not final. Again the contradiction will come, again you will suffer. But so there should not be any contradiction. If you not suffer, then what you have to do? Join us. Join us for the common struggle to overthrow this capitalism. Only if it is done, only if it is done, really you will be emancipated. Okay. So communists disdain to conceal their views and aims. They openly declare that their ends can be attained only by the forcible overthrow of all social conditions. Let the ruling classes tremble at the communistic revolution. The proletarians have nothing to lose but their chains. They have a world to win. Working men of all countries unite. Okay, this is where Communist Manifesto ends. So he asks all the working men of everywhere to unite, to wage a common struggle to overthrow this capitalism. This is what Marxist politics is all about. Any doubt in this case? You already time. This base and superstructure, I have not completed Marxism yet. So don't think I have completed. I have not completed it. Okay. Right. So I have not completed Marxism yet. We still have a few things to discuss, like the base and superstructure, which I already showed you. I will discuss it. Then Marx on religion and Marx on alienation and Marx critique of capitalism. So it will take maybe some 1 or 2 hours, one and a half hours. Then next week probably like I will be good, I suppose. So I will have at least 3 hours or 4 hours for you. Okay, God's grace. So if it is there, 3 hours is 4 hours. So what I will do is I will club Marxism with socialism Saturday, and Sunday we will go to paper 2 anyway. So there will not be any confusion next week. Okay. Just because I was ill this week, I did this way. Like, any doubt till now? Any doubt in this? Online students, Marxism, any doubt? I believe like at least after the end of this class you would have understood a little bit better. This is my trust. Okay. So today I couldn't keep up the promise, like I told you half an hour before I'll come, but I thought class is there, so I went there. Even I went only 10 minutes before. But anyway, next week I'll come half an hour definitely before. Okay. If you have any doubt, read Marxism. Okay, read Marxism. Okay. By today I'll correct all the mistakes that is there and send this to you. Okay. And read Marxism. Any doubt, come and ask me in the next class. Okay, pa. Thank you.